Hello everyone. In this lecture of the Essential Calculus Problem Series, we will solve the integral of secant to the power of 5x dx. The integral of secant to the power of 5x dx. While solving this integral, you should remember that the derivative of tangent x is equal to secant square of x. And also you should remember that derivative of secant x is equal to secant x times tangent x. And also you should know this equation. Tangent square of x is equal to secant square of x minus 1. If you can't remember these equations, you cannot solve this problem. And also, in order to remember these, you should, for example, for the derivative of tangent x, you should write tangent x as sine x over cosine x and take the derivative. You will get secant square of x. If you can't remember the derivative of secant x, you should write it as 1 over cosine x and take derivative. You will get secant x tangent x. If you can't remember this equation, then write tangent x as sine square of x divided by cosine square of x, and you will get this. Okay. Now turn back to the integral. And we have an exponent 5 here. We should reduce the exponent here. While reducing the exponents, always we use the same method. We will write secant to the power of 5x as secant cube x times secant square of x dx. Always we split secant square of x in order to reduce the power. And here we will use the integration by parts. What was integration by parts? Let me remind it to you. If we have an integral of u times dv, u here is a function of x and v is another function of x. U times dv is equal to u times v minus the integral of v times du. We will use this integration method to solve the problem. Since we know that the derivative of tangent x is secant square of x, we will say that secant cube x is equal to u. Then take the derivative and 3 times secant square of x times the derivative of secant x, and is secant x tangent x dx is du. Then this is 3 times secant cube x times tangent x dx is equal to du. And we have secant square of x dx. We say that secant square of x dx equal to dv, and this means that since derivative of tangent x is secant square of x, we say tangent x equal to v here. Okay, this is u and this is v. By integration by parts, we said that u times dv is equal to u times v minus v times du. U times v, the integral is secant cube x times v tangent x minus the integral of v times v is tangent x du. Du is this. Since we have 3 here, I will write it outside of the integral times secant cube x times tangent x, that we say tangent square of x, yeah, dx. Our integral was integral of secant to the power of 5x dx. Now we have this. We know that tangent square of x is equal to secant square of x minus 1. And we will rewrite tangent square of x here as secant square of x minus 1. Then let's take this down. Minus 3 times the integral of secant square of x minus 1 times secant cube x dx. And this will become as minus 3 times the integral of secant cube x multiplied by secant square of x is secant to the power of 5x, and secant cube x 1 minus secant cube x dx. And the integral, we will split this integral into two parts here, and let's take this down. This is 3 times the integral of secant to the power of 5x dx minus multiplied minus secant cube x is plus 3 times the integral of secant cube x dx. Now, as you see, we have here secant to the power of 5x, and we have here secant to the power of 5x dx. We take this one to the left side, then the integral becomes 4 times the integral of secant to the power of 5x dx equal to secant cube x times tangent x plus 3 times secant cube x dx. Now we should take the integral of secant cube x, then we will find the answer. Now let's write the integral of secant cube x dx. Again, to integrate this, we will again reduce the power, reduce the exponent. Then we should write it as secant x times secant square of x dx. And we will again use the integration by parts method. We will say here secant x equals to u. Then the derivative of secant x is secant x tangent x times dx is equal to du, and we say secant square of x dx dv again. Secant square of x dx is equal to dv. Then since the derivative of tangent x is secant square of x, we can say that tangent x is equal to v. Okay, and we are using again the integration by parts. Integration by parts say that secant cube x dx will be u times v. U is secant x times v tangent x minus the integral of v times du. V is tangent x, du is secant x tangent x dx. Secant x tangent x, let's say tangent square of x here, dx. Okay, then the integral of secant cube x dx will be equal to secant x tangent x. Again, for the tangent square of x, we will write here secant square of x minus 1. Then the integral becomes minus the integral of secant square of x minus 1 times secant x dx. Then this will be equal to integral of sec³ minus sec x dx. Then sec³ dx is equal to sec x tangent x, and here we split the integral again into two parts. This will be minus integral of sec³ dx, minus becomes plus, plus the integral of sec⁵ dx. Okay, as you see here, we have sec⁵x here and sec⁵x here. We will take this to here. Then 2 times sec⁵x dx will be equal to sec⁵x tangent x plus integral of sec⁵x dx. Before this video, a few videos before, I solved the integral of sec⁵x dx, and this was equal to ln absolute value of sec⁵x plus tangent x. You can look at the video of the integral of sec⁵x. You can see it here. And while solving this integral, we use the method multiplying by sec⁵x by sec⁵x plus tangent x and dividing by it again. I will not show it to you here because the video is gets longer. Okay, then we see that the integral of sec⁵x dx will be equal to 1 over 2 times sec⁵x tangent x plus 1 over 2 times ln absolute value of sec⁵x plus tangent x. Now we will use this for here. Okay, our integral was this. And for the integral of sec⁵x, we found that it will be this. Then the integral of sec⁵ to the power of 5x dx will be equal to 1 over 4 times sec⁵x tangent x plus 3 over 4 times sec⁵x. Sec⁵x was 1 over 2 times sec⁵x tangent x plus 1 over 2 times ln absolute value of sec⁵x plus tangent x, and plus a constant c, since the integral is an indefinite integral. So the integral of sec to the power of 5x is this. In the next video, we will start the series of the integrals of cosecant functions, and the first video will be the integral of cosecant x. See you in the next video.